hard work. Marriage is hard work, but it doesn't have to be hard. And it doesn't have to be difficult. We perceive it that way and become so miserable and stop being the woman our husband's married because we live in camp victim, blaming our husbands for the way things are going. When we live in camp take responsibility, we recognize we've made this choice. So I can either make it hard and difficult, or I can put on my big girl pants, do my best. And when you're married to a good man, if you do your best and you're taking responsibility for being a wife and your commitments and vows for you because it makes you feel good about yourself, and your husband in the marriage gets the benefit of that, makes you feel good about yourself, and your husband in the marriage gets the benefit of that, that's where your good man is waiting for you.
What if I told you that the most dangerous thing a man can do after 50 is try to be saved? Not from fire, not from poverty, but from silence, from solitude, from himself. They won't say it out loud, but the moment your life falls apart, divorce, betrayal, death, distance, everyone starts handing you the same prescription. Find someone new. As if your worth depends on being chosen. As if the ache you feel can only be soothed by the presence of another body beside you. Distance, everyone starts handing you the same prescription. Find someone new. As if your worth depends on being chosen. As if the ache you feel can only be soothed by the presence of another body beside you. They call it moving on, healing, starting fresh. But they don't see what it costs. They don't see the way you start shrinking your habits again, making room. They don't see the little sacrifices you make to not seem too cold, too quiet, too structured. They don't see how your mornings, once peaceful, are now shaped by someone else's rhythm. How the freedom you fought like hell to rebuild gets traded back for fleeting validation. And it happens slowly, subtly. You smile more, but feel less. You talk more, but say less. You perform. You adapt. You disappear again. Not all at once. Just piece by quiet piece. But here's the hard truth. Most men learn too late. Not every partnership is a cure. Some are just a prettier version of your last prison. At this stage of life, after everything you've survived, the greatest betrayal is not being alone. It's handing over your peace just to avoid it. By quiet peace. But here's the hard truth. Most men learn too late. Not every partnership is a cure. Some are just a prettier version of your last prison. At this stage of life, after everything you've survived, the greatest betrayal is not being alone. It's handing over your peace just to avoid it. They'll call you bitter, guarded, selfish, but maybe you're just finally awake. And if that silence you've been sitting in lately feels more real than any connection you've been offered, then this, my friend, is for you. Because sometimes, what poisons a man's life after 50 isn't losing love. It's the belief that he needs it to be whole.
Shalom, shalom to the elective. Yasharala, all praises and glory goes to our mighty power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, upgrade millstone, and salutations unto the electmen feeding the sheep of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, in sincerity and truth through this great gospel that is strictly coming out of our Bible. The Bible that belongs to the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right, these are letters that we were writing to our people, right? Not to the whole world. Not to the whole world. Accounts of the history of who Israelites dealing with these other nations. And the future prophecy of us being saved from these other nations. Man, that's what's about to happen. That's what's about to happen. That's why this society, the spirit of this society is collapsing. The spirit of a feminist. The spirit of a woman over a man, right? You just had the She-Hulk, right? The Colombian bodybuilder woman get put to death. She's known as the She-Hulk, right? It says a Colombian bodybuilder known as She-Hulk was beaten to death with a hammer. They hammer timed her. right, with a hammer while vacationing in Spain, and her husband was found dead with a self-inflicted stab wounds, according to the police and local reports. Right, that nigga done lost his mind. What a motherfucker! Any motherfucker who done stabbed themselves to death, you are crazy. They be showing the Japanese. They got a certain thing where what's them the samurais, what they call them goddamn thing, these people, man. Well, these samurais, when they can't protect their leader, right, they kill themselves. They stab themselves in the gut and go cut aside their stomach. You like, yeah, right. No thank you. No thank you. You're gonna have to hunt a nigga down before I do some bullshit like that. It says a Colombian bodybuilder known as She-Hulk was beaten to death with a hammer while vacationing in Spain, and her husband was found dead with a self-inflicted stab wounds. According to that nigga was on demon time, right? It says, according to police and local reports, it says Zonilda Hoyos Menendez, 43, and her beefy husband of 4 years, Gerard Gilling, right? She ain't even got his last name, were found dead in their rental home in Malaga, where they had been staying for about a month following Gilling's knee surgery. Right, and one thing we know, once you get that surgery, boy, them doctors give you them prescription pills. They give you them narcotics, and the narcotics bring them demons. And them demons put She-Hulk to sleep, right? Look at this incredible Hulk-looking Hulk, goddammit. That's another thing. These women think they're tough. It says, Mendez, who went by Amy, had told relatives that Gilling was being aggressive towards her over the past year. And of course, you motherfuckers on steroids. You on steroids. What come with steroids? For a woman, it comes a deep voice, hair on her face, right? She become a man. A man, his pee-pee gets small, and he become aggressive and angry, right? It says Mendez, who went by Amy, had told relatives that Gilling was being aggressive towards her over the past year, and the two intended on divorcing following their trip, which would have ended with a bodybuilding competition in Portugal in a couple of weeks. Family members said, yeah, guess what the Lord said? He got different plans for Super Hulk, right? For the Incredible Hulk woman. Look at this shit. This is nasty, disgusting, right? This is disgusting. Let's go to some verses right quick. This is the book of Titus. We'll go to Titus 2, verse 3. It says, the aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness. Right? You got these old-ass women, these grown-up-ass women acting like little kids. Right? All they want to do is show their body like they some young, fresh teenagers. You old hoes need to play your positions. Right? Cover that old-ass frame, them wrinkled-ass titties. Right? And beat-up-ass thighs. You been fucking so much. I seen one hoe at the grocery store the other day. The back of her legs just beat up. Nothing but cellulite. Nothing but it was disgusting, goddammit. And she out there with the booty shorts. And I said in another video, I seen one hoe, I come out the crib, this bitch got her whole ass cheek out with her 5-year-old behind her. And he crying. I know he disgusted too, looking at his mama cheek shaking. Right? It says, the aged woman likewise said they be in behavior. These women are out the fucking order, man. That's why the Lord killing these bitches. Right? The Lord killing these funky ass hoes.
Thank you and welcome to The Factor Uncensored for joining us tonight. First up, 2 death investigations underway. The first in Atlanta. According to USACrime.com, a woman named Maya died during a night out with friends. Now, officials report it is not available just yet, but the website says the victim was twerking in front of a vehicle her friends were inside of. Someone behind the vehicle or the wheel then drove over her, killing her, dragging her body under the vehicle, and leaving her body behind in the middle of the road. And in Missouri, another case, an 18-year-old named Nyla Simmons also killed. Investigators say Simmons was dancing on top of an SUV when she fell off of the vehicle, followed by a fire truck running over her. And top of an SUV when she fell off of the vehicle, followed by a fire truck running over her. and killing her just seconds later. People have been talking about both of those reports on social media, along with this video. It was reportedly filmed in a Lululemon store, featuring alleged strippers shaking and twerking in the store. This has been heavily criticized. Lululemon's CEO has previously said the brand isn't for certain customers, which many have assumed that was code for excluding black people. Do some people struggle with a craving for public attention to the point it puts their lives at risk?
A deadly weekend on Lake Michigan has torn one family apart. A 27-year-old woman died Saturday after she fell off a boat. Her mother told our Sade Gray this is a tragic reminder of the importance of life jackets.
I wouldn't wish this type of pain on any parent. Oh my gosh.
Fighting back tears, Kizzy Wells says her daughter, 27-year-old Zari Walls, stole her heart, and now she is in pain.
It doesn't feel real.
Walls was with a group of friends on a boat in Lake Michigan near Navy Pier, and Chicago fire officials say she somehow fell off. The U.S. Coast Guard found her body a mile and a half from shore. She was taken to Northwestern Hospital, where she was pronounced.
We don't
see all that dancing, all that want to be seen, right? These women, all they want to be is seen, as right? It says twerking on a boat gone wrong. She was twerking on the boat and fell over and died. The other woman, the ambulance that's supposed to pick up and help people, then ran over her ass. The other chick, her friends ran over her. Right? It's a time of judgment on you wicked ass women, man, because you women serve no purpose. That's another thing, all that witchcraft, right? These women don't look like this. This is makeup. This is weave, right? Fake eyelashes, right? Everything is fake about these goddamn women. You take her home, and when she wake up the next day, she look like motherfucking a bear. You be like, what happened to the person you brought home last night, man? You got fooled, you was drinking, you was high on drugs. Right? That's why we didn't separate ourselves from these people and this society. I'm gonna read the book of Romans 12:2. It says, and be not conformed to this world, right? In this world, they want you to go to school, graduate, get married, and work hard for these fucking women and your children who's gonna turn on you and die early while she go fuck another motherfucker. And your kids forget about you, right? That's what they want you to do. This is a sucker society for men, right? A sucker society for men. That's why a lot of men say, man, fuck a bitch. I ain't getting married. A lot of men are being single, right? A lot of men are choosing to be alone and staying away from these goddamn women, right? Because guess what? They're having more fun by themselves, right? You got the passport brothers. They going overseas and getting killed chasing pussy. Right? That's a stupid spirit too. Right? Your life is so miserable, you gotta leave the country to go look for a woman. It's a lot of hoes in America. Right? That's the problem. These men, they feel like the only way they could, how can we say, feel that void of emptiness is to chase a woman. No, you need to chase your shot. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect in the will of the Most High. What is the will of the Lord? That we keep His commandments and fear Him. Right? We're in a time of fearing Yahweh Shem Yahushai, not fearing being alone, not fearing not having a wife and children. Right? These things is about to become, how can we say, a liability in the times we're coming to. Your women, your kids. Right? This society is about to collapse. Right? And it's a lot of you men, you're going to try to save your hoe. Captain Saber hoes is going to die in the times you're coming to. I'm going to go back to Titus 2 and 3. It says, the aged woman, likewise, that they be in behavior. Right? Not twerking. Not shaking their asses. Not being a thought or a slut. It says, right? The aged woman, likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, separate, not false accusers, not given to too much wine, the teachers of good things, and that's the problem. You got a lot of these. You just had one woman, she drunk all that liquor and killed all her friends. So a lot of these women, they be drinking that, don't drink that wine. Them women drinking that wine, they drinking that hard liquor. They smoking that good weed, they getting high off of that cocaine, boy, they getting fucked up. And they out there fucking and sucking. Right, them bitches selling pussy, man. These bitches ain't got no jobs, man. It's 2025. The most unemployed motherfucker on the face of the earth is a woman. Right? It says that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children. These women hate their husbands and they hate their children. And these women are an embarrassment to their fathers and their mothers. Right? These funky ass bitches. Look at California. These niggas, you niggas in California, boy, the Lord gonna kill so many of y'all niggas. These niggas be having whole city streets where nothing but prostitutes and dope fiends and drug dealers. Like, this shit is cool. Right? Like, this shit is fucking cool. It says that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet. Right? There's no discretion about these women. Right? There is no discretion about these women. It says careful and circumspect in one's speech and actions. Right? These women ain't circumspect. They're not careful. They're not cautious. Right? They're not closed-lipped. Right? The bitch is supposed to be quiet. Right? Closed mouth. Right? Tactful. Diplomatic, considerate. A woman ain't considering nothing. Prudent, right? Strategic, wise, sensible, delicate. Nah, these ain't no delicate women. These ain't no delicate women. We dealing with hoes in 2025, right? It says to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husband, obedient to their own husbands, not obedient to. They ain't obedient to nothing. This is like them bitches fucking and sucking everything, right? We dealing with hoes. And this is a curse on the earth, right? Where a woman is so fucking polluted that nobody want to be with these hoes. These women, men are not stepping up to us. Men are not talking to us. Men are not going to the clubs no more. Because men done woke up. Men done woke the fuck up from that witchcraft of you funky bitches, right? It says that the word of the Most High be not blasphemed, right? We seeking Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It says, what the scriptures say, bear with me. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added unto thee. Right? Before women, we want the Lord to forgive us. That's the main thing. You need to be forgiven by the Lord. You need to be in good standing with the Lord, and after that comes the blessings, right? And the curse is going to be removed once the Lord come back and sends His Son back to deliver us. Proverbs 31:30, it says, "Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain," right? Beauty is vain. Don't be chasing a hoe because she looks pretty or she has a big fake butt, long fake eyelashes, right? Can she cook? Can she clean? Can she teach her children? Right? Can she guide the house when you're not in that motherfucker? Right? It says, "Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised." Right? She shall be praised, and that's why the Lord has separated his men and his women from these wicked people of this society. To you sisters who believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushua and who are faithful to your men, to your man, I'm sorry, not men, to your man, right? Continue to believe, and the Lord's going to deliver you and save you, right? Because the Lord is not a man that He shall lie, right? One thing we understand, that the Lord is all about truth. Everything the scriptures talk about is coming to pass. Right, the scriptures talked about our women being, your wife shall be a harlot in the streets. Right? The Bible talked about that. We got to bear the indignation of the Lord. Right? Until the Lord forgive us, man. Until the Lord come and make this place a fucking ruin and destroy the society and everything in it. Shalom.